So in question 2, we have a system of inequalities, and they're linear. There's no squared terms at all here, and it says solve the system using any technique that you're comfortable with and you feel you can use. And certainly we could probably manipulate this and set it up so it would be good to solve it using elimination. I'm going to use it. I'm going to solve this using the method of substitution, and I choose that primarily because my y value is already isolated. I can see here that y is equivalent to the opposite of x plus 8. So essentially what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to take this value of y, let me put this in some red brackets, and I'm going to replace that for y in the top equation. So what I'm saying here is I've got equal things. I'm going to swap them out. Y is equivalent to the opposite of x plus 8 according to the second equation. So I'm just going to place that value of y in the first equation. So let's rewrite the first equation. It will become negative 2x plus 8 times y. Instead of writing y, I'm going to write the opposite of x plus the number 8. And then that equals 24. So if you look at it, you can see I started with a negative 2x. I've got negative 2x. I've got an 8. I've got an 8. Then I multiply by a y. Here's the y I'm multiplying by. And then I've got that equals 24. It equals 24. So this is what I'm talking about here. This is substitution. And now that I've completed the substitution, take a look. The equation I have now only has this single variable x in it. So we can use our basic equation solving techniques to solve for x. I'm going to go ahead and use the distributive property to get rid of these parentheses. So I have negative 2x plus negative 8x, right? I'm multiplying 8 and negative x, so that's going to be a negative property, well, it depends on what x is. I should be careful. But it is negative 8x. And then I have plus an 8 times 8, which is 64, and over here that equals 24. If I combine like terms, that's a negative 10x, right? There's negative 2 and negative 8 is negative 10x. Plus 64 equals 24. From each side now I'm going to subtract 64. So I get that negative 10x, negative 10x is equal to, that would be a negative 40. Right? If I have negative 64 and I combine or I add 24 to that, that's negative 40. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 10. Division property of equality here. That gives me that x must equal the number 4. So I have a value for x at this point. X is 4, I believe. And I'm going to go ahead and use the second equation to figure out what y is. According to the second equation, y should be equivalent to the opposite of x. So I've got the opposite of, I've put some parentheses here, and then it's plus 8. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug into those parentheses the value of x that I found. So I've got that y should equal negative 4 plus 8. And when I simplify that, that gives me that y equals the number 4. So my solution to this system of inequalities is that x is the number 4 and that y is 4. And I should write that as an ordered pair, right? So it's basically the point x is 4, comma, y is 4. Now, it's probably a good idea because I know myself and I know that it's possible for me to make a mistake. Probably a good idea to plug that in and verify that that's really a solution. So, just to show you the technique, this is what I would typically do. I'm going to go ahead and plug that into both equations and verify that it makes it true. So let me just jot these equations down again. Negative 2 times x plus 8 times y, and that equals the number 24. I'm sorry, I've set this up off camera here, and the other one is going to be a y is equal to negative x plus 8. Okay, so let me show you what I wrote down here. So I'll make this a little smaller so you can see it. But basically, I've set this up, and let me put a little bit of room here, whoops, between the top one and the bottom one. I've set up a room here so that I can basically plug these in and test to see if these values 4, 4 make this true. So the first one, it's negative 2 times a 4, because that's what x was. It was 4, plus 8 times y, that is a 4. And this should equal the number 24. Well, here's 24 on this side. On the left-hand side, I have negative 8 plus 4 times 8, which is 32. And sure enough, if I have 32 and I subtract 8 from it, that will exactly equal 24. So my 0.44 is definitely a solution to the top equation. And if I plug in the second one, I think we already can see this, right? When y is 4, I get that equals the opposite of x. And sure enough, if I look at it, here's 4 on the left-hand side, and the right-hand side, I have a positive 4, because 8 plus negative 4 is 4. So it's a solution for both. This point right here is definitely the solution. The point x is 4, y is 4.